I don't think it's a stretch to say that you are sort of the most loved and loathed public intellectual in the Western world at the moment. So I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about what that's like and your understanding of it. You've just come from 2 days in Vancouver where, on an event with Sam Harris, talking for over 2 hours about the question of truth. And 5,000 people showed up to those events, not exactly a sexy Beyonce concert. What's going on? How do you understand it and your place in it?
Well, I think you don't want to underestimate the role that technological transformation is playing in this. You know, I've been thinking about YouTube and podcasts quite intensely for about 2 years. So I started putting my university lectures on YouTube in 2013. And I did that for a variety of reasons, mostly curiosity, because and the drive to learn. And I've found that if I want to learn a technology, the best way to do it is to use it. And I'm always learning new technologies because, well, not that that makes me particularly unique, but, and I had some success with my lectures on public television in Canada. So I did some lectures with a series called Big Ideas on Canadian public television. And there was about 200 of those lectures, and I did 5 of them. 200 done by 200 different people, but I did 5 of them. And they were regularly in the top 10 of the most viewed lectures. And so I knew that there was some broader market for, let's say, ideas. And I thought, well, I might as well put my lectures up on YouTube and see what happens. And then by April of 2016, I had 1 million views. And I thought, the only reason people are watching these is because they want to watch them, because they're actually really hard. And 1 million of something is a lot. If you sell 1 million copies of your book, well, first of all, that never happens, right? I mean, it's very, very rare. You're very happy. You never have your scientific papers cited 1 million times. You rarely have $1 million. It's a very large number. And I thought,
well, this room accepted. But
well, fair enough, fair enough.
Guys.
And it's, of course, it's not as uncommon as it once was, but it's still a significant number. And I didn't really have any way of calibrating that. I thought, well, what am I supposed to do now that I hit 1 million views? How am I supposed to conceptualize that? What is this YouTube thing anyways that was once a repository for cute cat videos? And what does it mean to have 1 million views on it? And I thought, and so I really started to think about it because, you know, and there were a lot of people commenting as well, and they were into the lectures and following them avidly. And I thought, okay, so what is this YouTube exactly? And I thought, well, for the first time in human history, the spoken word has the same reach as the written word. And not only that, no lag to publication and no barrier to entry. That's a major technological revolution. That's a Gutenberg revolution. That's a big deal. This is a game changer. And then it was soon after that that I discovered the podcast world, which is about 10 times as big as the YouTube world. And the podcast world is also a Gutenberg revolution, except it's even more extensive because the problem with books and videos is that you can't do anything else while you're doing them, right? When you're reading, you're reading. When you're watching a video, you know, you can be distracted, but you have to pay attention to the video. But if you're listening to a podcast, you can be driving a forklift or a long-haul truck, or you can be exercising or doing the dishes. And so what that means is that podcasts free up, say, 2 hours a day for people to engage in educational activities that they wouldn't otherwise be able to engage in, and that's about 1/8 of people's lives. So podcasts hand people 1/8 of their life back to engage in high-level education. So then I thought, well, people actually want to do this. There's a massive market for high-level intellectual engagement that's much deeper and more desperate, let's say, than anyone suspected. We really saw that in Vancouver. You know, I mean, the discussion I had with Sam Harris, the 2 discussions, we talked about the relationship between facts and values. Was really and science and religion more peripherally. But the dialogue was conducted at the level, I would say, approximately at the level of a pretty rigorous PhD defense. And we were only supposed to talk for an hour and then go to Q&A, but the crowd didn't want us to stop. And so we talked the first night for 2.5 hours and the second night for 2.5 hours, and the crowd was 100% on board the entire time. And it wasn't because Sam was winning or I was winning. Neither of us, in fact, were trying to win. We were trying to learn something, and we were actually trying to learn something. We weren't just pretending to do that. And, you know, the place erupted at the end. And I think one of the things I've realized in the last couple of days as I've been thinking this through is that the narrow bandwidth of TV has made us think we're stupider than we are.